Hey crafters, it's Leo with Dreaming Tree, and today we're diving into something a little spooky, a little festive, and a whole lot of fun, our Costume Champion ribbon. It's a customizable prize ribbon, and it's the perfect way to crown the star of your Halloween celebration, whether it's a best costume, funniest look, or even most unique. We've included 11 different print then cut elements, so you'll be able to whip up just the right ribbon for your classroom party, neighborhood trick-or-treaters, or even that office costume contest. Now we've included a blank template so you can adapt it to other occasions as well. So it's a very quick project and a great excuse to pop into the craft room and whip up something spooky, even if it's just for that one special trick-or-treater of the evening. Let's get started. So check this out real quick. You can see here, I printed out just a couple of these, and they're pretty cute actually. So depending on what you're doing, and maybe you're gonna have maybe 3 different prizes at your Halloween party, who knows? So obviously you'll want one of those. I'm gonna go with this one just because it coordinates best with the colors that I picked out. Most original costume. Okay, here is my glitter piece that I picked out for the backing on that. We have 2 black pieces that we're gonna use to kind of help us form the rosettes. There's gonna be 2 of those. And I need to fire up my hot glue because you're gonna need hot glue for the actual rosettes to actually get them on there. It's a disaster to not use hot glue when it comes to that. So as far as the rosettes go, there's 2 of them. One's large, one's small. And we have, well, the small one is 1 piece. The large one is 2 pieces. And then we have 2 black tails, 2 overlays for the tails, and the rest just goes together like magic. So let's put the rosettes together first and foremost. And what you want to do here is you're going to start off with a valley fold on the small one. Okay, so you're making a valley, not a mountain. A mountain would be this way, like you're creating a mountain. So just make a valley fold and then just go the opposite way. You're doing a mountain fold and then a valley and then a mountain and a valley and a mountain and so on and so forth until you are all the way to the other end of this piece. Okay, now we're pretty much going to do the same thing with the other ribbon, with the exception of the fact that we need to join the 2 sections together. Okay, so I'm going to just get this one done. Just keep going back and forth from valley to mountain, from valley to mountain until we have no more score lines to fold. And I did solid score lines with this one. It just does, it looks nicer. Folds just fine. Did this with my Juliet. My Caesar Juliet, and almost there. Hopefully this doesn't flare up your arthritis. I know it's a lot of squeezing and folding. It should be all right. It's not like shaping, 50 different flower petals. Okay, so there's that. Now we have that. Now what I want you to do, you can either go to this side here where you have a valley, or this side here where you have a mountain. I think it's just easier for me to describe this process with this side here where we have the valley fold. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on this last piece here, just like that. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, keeping the color or the pattern that I want to see facing out, we're going to flip this around and connect it to the opposite side. Okay, now what I'm going to do is kind of stack a few of these layers together so that I can squeeze everything together. Make sure it's flush here on the flat side. Okay, and just give that a quick squeeze. Let's release it, and you can see right here is where it joined on this section here, and that's usually all you need to do. Now, obviously that's not a rosette, not yet. We're going to grab one of these black pieces, but let's practice this real quick. All you're going to do is take this, and with your thumbs here on the inside, let's make sure we have a valley fold here real quick. It should just be a nice zigzag all the way around. What we're going to do is just literally just take this and bring it in, like so. And then we're going to hold that down on this black piece. Okay, or I'm going to do it on this one here. So here's what I want you to do. Get your hot glue, make sure it's nice and hot. let's do a nice little line in the center, or a little blob in the center, and then just do a little ring around the outside as well. Clear that off, and then take your rosette. Try to keep it as flat as you can as you lay it down. I think the smaller one's a little easier. And then just kind of bunch it together in the center. Press down with your finger in the middle. Grab it like this, and then while it's still not completely dry, you should have a little bit of time to kind of move this black piece over a little bit and get it more centered. If not, it's totally fine. Just keep holding. Let that fully set. And that's that for that rosette. This would be a good time if you want to hit your rosette with a little bit of ink. So this does have a white core, and if you want to hide it, it's fine. It's not the end of the world, and you don't really, I feel like the white core is more visible in the center, but that's all going to go away technically when we put this piece on there. Okay, so I'm not overly concerned about that. Anyway, let's take a look at the large rosettes. Okay, so with the larger ones here, I'm going to start with a mountain fold, okay, and then you're going to do a valley, and then a mountain, and a valley, and a mountain, and a valley, and so on and so forth until you get to the end. And you repeat that same process with the other one. Okay, so just repeating the process here. Valley, mountain, until we get all the way to the end. And we're going to repeat the same process on the other side, on the other one. Okay. We're going to join them together and then essentially just do the same thing we did with the small one, except that, you know, it's just going to be a little bit larger. All right, so again, we're going to start with a mountain fold on one side, and then just go back and forth, mountain, valley, and depending on how quickly you can maneuver, that will pretty much determine how quickly this thing gets done. The rest of it is very straightforward. This is probably you're probably going to spend the most time on this project just building the rosettes and picking out papers, honestly. But that's the fun part with Halloween. For the most part, you really can't mess up. I almost actually kind of wish that mine turned out a little wackier looking than it did. And if you want to get even crazier, you can make the pattern papers on the tails different colors for each tail. They don't even both have to be the same. And that would actually look pretty cool, I think. So there we go. All right, so we got two of them now. And what I need you to do now is just, as we did before, you have one mountain fold here and one valley fold here. Let's go ahead and put a little bit of glue on the valley, on the one section of the valley fold, like so. And then take the end of this mountain fold, pop it right on there. Just match that up. Okay, then you can kind of just start folding it in on itself. Give you a few extra layers to kind of squeeze together. Okay, and you can see here, I've got one long piece now, like so. And one end here should be a valley fold, the other should be a mountain. And we're gonna do the same thing. Go ahead and put a little bit of glue on one section of this valley fold. Grab the one section of the mountain fold on the other side and just connect them together. Okay, give that a press. And you can take a few layers and just kind of squeeze them together just to make sure that it's sitting in the right spot. It should be flush back here as well. Give that a quick squeeze. Okay, and just go ahead and lay it out like this, just like we did before. And actually, yeah, we want the flat side on top, the rounded side on the bottom. And just like we did before, we can practice turning this into a rosette like so. Okay, this one's pretty cool with the spider web. I dig it. All right, so let's let that go for a second and let's get our hot glue. Just a little bit in the center and then just do a little line around the outside. Okay, grab your rosette, form it, maybe just kind of hold it like this, and then pop that right in the center, and then go ahead and squeeze it together, and you just use your finger to press and hold in the center, and then if you still have time, kind of nudge that circle a little bit. Try to fan this out as evenly as possible, and then just keep that center nice and tight. Keep holding while that glue sets. And if you try to do this with regular Scotch glue like this, you're gonna be sitting here with your finger on this for probably 20 minutes because there's a lot of tension here that wants to be released. And well, the hot glue just does a lot better job keeping it together. And now here, if you want, while you're holding it, if you don't want to see, actually I kind of like the white core. It's the second time I've said that in a week, but only because I'm working on Halloween projects. Actually like the white core. So anyway, while that is fully curing, let's take a look at this. Okay, and now you'll notice that there's some rounded like triangles in the centers of these. Now you want to match those up. I guess it's not all that important because obviously this orange part needs to be centered on this ribbon, right? So I would focus more on that than that little triangle there. That triangle there is mostly to help you offset and align the two layers of ribbon. Okay, so make sure, but also just make sure that you do line it up with the correct size, or side, I should say. All right, make sure you get that nice and centered as well. Get that tail on there, should be flush on the bottom. Okay, there's your first tail. Just trying to make sure that's nice and lined up. It's super simple to make. All right, and then we'll do the other one. Now I have a bunch of options for my rosettes because I was playing around with colors and actually made some last minute modifications to this project as well, which is why I have a few options for my rosettes, which is always fun. But that just means that I might just make an extra one. Okay, get that lined up on the bottom, press that down. Okay, so now these little triangles are they're kind of at an angle. So what you're gonna do, you can decide if you wanna do this one on top or this one on top. It doesn't really matter. It's all gonna ultimately be the same. Okay, you just wanna line those triangles up so that they match up like that. And if you wanna spread these tails out a little more, you can. But there's roughly a position that we recommend, but you know, you can spread yours out a little bit more, and that's cute, little stars there as well. So all we need to do here is just throw a little bit of glue on the circular part. Now that's obviously gonna go like this. Take a look at those little triangles, rounded triangles, and just make sure you match those up nicely. This circle should match up perfectly. Okay, then I would just use your mat just to make sure that maybe just take the bottom parts of the tails here and place them on a horizontal line, and maybe also center it right here. So this is nice and centered. And that'll kind of help you just make sure that when you place your rosette on there, that you also have that nice and centered. So I have these two, and I can't decide which one I like better. I'm gonna put this here and put this here. I kind of like this one still because it's got a little more contrast and interest on that right there. So here's what we're gonna do. I would probably just go hot glue on this. Okay, just throw a little hot glue on that layer, and we're gonna do our best to get that nice and centered. You want it to be nice and symmetrical, nice and even. And how's that looking? I think that looks pretty good. Okay, I dig it. And then I'm gonna put our glitter piece in place. How about let's glue our little sentiment on the glitter piece first. And I kind of, at this point, wish it was a thicker glitter. This is more of that POW glitter. It's like a fake, like a faux glitter, I guess. or it doesn't shed, that's a bonus for sure. It's just not as thick. So part of me worries a little bit about putting hot glue on this and the possibility of it warping ever so slightly, but I should be fine. All right, so we've got that, and we're gonna get that nice and centered on this rosette. That looks awesome, actually. Definitely need one of these. And then what you probably want to do is grab yourself a little baby pin, okay, and just hot glue it to the back of this entire thing. Okay, and then that way you have a way to adhere it to the person, or if they don't want to wear it, or if you're not planning on, making it wearable, which you don't have to, you can just give it as is. You could put a magnet on the back of it if you want. You have a nice blank area to do that. Okay, that looks pretty centered, I would say. And last but not least, your last step here is to get this on there, nice and centered. And I'm gonna put this back on here with the straight line going up the center. Okay, and let's throw a little hot glue on this as well. This actually, you know what? We don't need to put hot glue on this. We can actually just glue it. I'm gonna put glue on this part here. It's perfect. Keep that nice and centered. Grab this fella here. And let's see. This is my center point. That's going to go right about here. There we go. And there you have it. It's beautiful. Okay, and as I mentioned, you can put you can hot glue a little baby pin on the back of that and then call it a day. So that's gonna do it. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'm sure it'll come in handy at some point, and even if it's not for Halloween. If you have any suggestions for additional sentiments that you may like to see for other occasions, drop us a note. Maybe it's something that we can do as an add-on in the future. But either way, hope you enjoyed the project. If you did, please hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. And if you make this or anything from our recent bundle, our Moonlight Magic bundle, I'd love to see it. And so with the rest of our community, you can head over to Facebook, do a search for Dreaming Tree Official, or head over to Creative Fabrica under the Papercraft Clubhouse. We hang out there as well. I've got actually a thread going there where you guys can upload a photo of your recent project from that bundle. I would certainly love to see it. And if you haven't already, definitely grab yourself an all-access membership on Creative Fabrica. That's how you can get all of our content, past, present, and future. So anyway, happy Halloween. Hopefully someone you know wins this thing, or maybe you win it somehow. You made it for yourself. That's kind of weird. But either way, I look forward to crafting with you again.